and hopefully that we would have a much more inclusive society. So I want to ask, before we go even further, for
Well, protocol, I will still refresh it. Honorable Philip Telsford, our parliamentary representative for St. George's Southeast, moderator Judy Benoit, esteemed panelists at the head table, audience, both present physically here and the virtual audience, good night. Let me, or permit me to extend a warm welcome on behalf of the St. Paul Sports, Cultural and Development Organization, an organization which has been in existence well over 20 years. Tonight we are partnering, of course, with the Grenada National Council for the Disabled to put on this panel. And it was well supported by members of the community and other members. And the work of our organization within St. Paul's and its environment is ongoing. And we still look forward to new members joining. No one is too old, no one is too young to join our organization, because we know there's a lot of work to be done. I do not want to be long, so on behalf of our organization, I once again want to welcome everyone, and I trust that at the end of the session, we will be so much edified with the presentation that will be made by the various panelists that will be motivated to make greater to have a better appreciation of what persons who are differently able is going through, and a better appreciation and probably more support for their well-being. So once again, thank you very much for coming, and a warm welcome, and back over to Ms. Judy Benoit, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. Okay, before we go into the actual panel and a little more discussion, I would like to turn our attention to one of our online participants. She is Juana Sotomayor, Human Rights Advisor, the United Nations, and the Resident Coordinator's Office. So I guess our technical team will bring that address now from Madam Sotomayor.
Good night. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you confirm, please? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Juana Sotomayor. I am the UN Human Rights Advisor based in Barbados, for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. I hope I won't speak for too long or too fast, but I first wanted to thank you for the invitation to join this event in a very special year for the human rights community as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Universal Human Rights Declaration. This instrument is very inspirational and very important because it recognized 75 years ago that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. And for the community of persons with disabilities, this is very, very important. Everyone is equal, every person is equal, and every person has human rights. When we talk about human rights in relation to disabilities, we're often thinking also about the issue of inclusion and participation. And I know that the inspiration for this event is about transformative processes to achieve an inclusive society, transformative development. So I want to just mention that inclusion is also often a matter of addressing the different obstacles and barriers we place on persons with different abilities, with disabilities, with different kinds of disabilities, in how they participate in our events and society. We sometimes, all of us, create barriers, whether it
We're hearing you. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I am not going to speak for long because this is not working well. I was just saying that we all need to address barriers to ensure inclusion and participation of persons with different disabilities, with all different disabilities, not only physical disabilities, but also psychosocial disabilities and also sensory impairment or intellectual disabilities. And for that, I am really glad this discussion is taking place because there are very key words that have been highlighted, one of which is transformative dialogue, transformative development. We all need to change the way we see each other, change the way we interact with each other, and we address every person to ensure that these different persons can take part in life in the community, in culture, in sports, in development. I know some of the discussion will also focus on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and I just want to flag that human rights are at the foundation of the Sustainable Development Goals and would need to be woven into any activity, any initiative that will take place for persons with disabilities, remembering always that there are women who have disabilities, that there are persons with different ages, different social status as well. And so we need to be inclusive of all the different considerations. I don't want to go further. I don't know how much of this you have heard. I want to close by saying that in this 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration, we're all asked to commit once again to the principles of human rights, to a more inclusive society for everyone. Thank you very much for this invitation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sotomayor. And I think you gave us a lot of food for thought. And I know that following tonight, there will be a lot of transformation taking place. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her, please. Okay, so we continue with the program, and as you would see, we have a panel of 6, and they each will be speaking on different aspects of disability and as issues surrounding disability. But before we invite the first speaker, I would do just a little bit of housekeeping. I would like to ask, please, that just as a matter of courtesy, we turn our phones to silent, or we could turn them off if we so wish. If by chance they ring and you have to take the call, you can just quietly get up and slip out, take your call, and come back. So the call might be very important. Secondly, if you may need to use the washrooms, they are out the door here, down this part of the step here, and it's straight ahead of you once you go down the steps here. To your left, when you face in the washroom, would be females, and to your right would be males. And we will only ask that you leave it clean for us, please. Okay. So as we know, the theme, I think we all heard it when the loudspeakers were going around. It's a very nice theme, transformative. And this is a term you're hearing a lot these days, transformation, transformative, transform. So it is transformative solutions for inclusive development. I consider this a very powerful theme, and I believe that it is fitting to assist us to do what we know is right. There are lots of things that we have done in the past that may not allow for inclusiveness, but trust me, going forward, we will make sure we get it right. But it's not my evening. We have an excellent, well-educated panel here, and they are going to give us various aspects of it. So we will begin with Mrs. Chrissy Worm-Charles from the Ministry of Social Development, and she will give us some aspects of social inclusion. Attentively, you can pull out your phones or your notepads, make your notes, whatever questions, queries, or comments you might want to bring forth at the end, write it down so that we will take questions after each panelist does the delivery. So we're not going to do the questions and comments in between. We're going to do it at the end. So I will invite, you're not going to get up. You're not going to come here? I'm going to invite Mrs. Chrissy Worm-Charles to open that first, social inclusion. Give her a round of applause as she comes.
Regardless of